So it has been a couple weeks since the brutal assassination of conservative activist and commentator Charlie Kirk. And something I've seen with this that has kind of disturbed me a little that I would like to share is a lot of the conspiracy theories that are going around with it. And I'll preface this by saying I have no problem with people questioning authority or questioning the government or questioning the feds or whatever. Completely understand, completely support that. I get people having questions, and I have many myself as well. But what kind of bothers me a little bit is some of the people who are using the tragedy to get clout, right? They're posting these videos of frame by frames and saying, oh, look at this little obscure detail. This is blowing the lid off of this big conspiracy theory. It was, all these different things. And it's just, it really seems like they're not desiring to seek the truth or to actually uncover the truth. It's rather just to kind of have some conspiracy be true, right? They're engaging in I don't think in honesty. I think it's just to try to get attention. And I think that's very sad. I think it's using tragedy for personal gain, and I don't like that. And I've seen a lot of it on X, and maybe that's just the kind of the climate, as a lot of people are clout chasing on that. But I just think it's a little disrespectful. I mean, I've seen people go as far as to say that Charlie's not actually dead, and that like it was just a prosthetic, and he faked his death, and is living in Tel Aviv or something, right? Like, and that sounds crazy, but there are people out there that genuinely believe that, and it's sad, right? Because this was a father, a husband, a son, right, a brother, and I think to obsess over conspiracies is it really devalues him as a human, and I don't think we should do that. And again, I have no problem with questioning narratives or whatever. There's many different narratives I question, whether it's involved in Charlie Kirk or any other tragedy like that. I think it is good to question narratives, but when you're doing it to just get attention, that's different than when you're doing it to actually seek truth and to bring truth to light. And I think that those are very different things. And I don't think everyone on the far left and the far right who are making a bunch of crazy conspiracy theories about this, I don't think they're doing it for the right reasons. So again, I have no problem questioning, if the shooter was actually the real shooter, or, what happened with the firearm. Was that the right one that was used? No problem with that. But the people who are trying to use this for personal gain or for attention, I think they need to check their heart, because I don't think that should be your first reaction to a tragedy like this. I think it should be to mourn and to pray, not to try to bring attention to yourself.